Alrighty. Before we jump into our primary topic, let's bring in Martin Anderson Klutz, a senior solutions engineer at Acquia and maintainer of a growing number of modules of his own. Martin, what do you have for us this week?
Thanks, John. This week, I thought we would talk about oEmbed providers, which extends Drupal's ability to embed content from third party websites. It's a module that was created in April of 2020. The current version is 2.1.0, which is ready for Drupal 10. It is actively maintained. In fact, the last commit was in the last 2 weeks. It only has 8 open issues, 3 of which are bugs, which is pretty impressive considering it's in use by 4,265 websites. Was created by Chris Burge, and he continues to be the maintainer. Now, the module works by giving site builders the ability to configure additional oEmbed providers. Out of the box, Drupal core supports YouTube and Vimeo, and other modules are available to sort of add individual oEmbed providers like Instagram. Now, as an aside for anyone who's not familiar with the term oEmbed, it's an open format designed to allow embedding content from that third-party website into a web page. And by default, the way this module works is it pulls a list of providers from oembed.com, but that can be customized if there's another list, even a custom list that you'd prefer to use. It also allows for defining custom providers. The module exposes an alter hook so that if you want to sort of modify an existing list to work better with your particular website, you also have the ability to sort of do that at a code level. The 2.x branch of this module also introduced a concept of buckets as a way to sort of group providers together. So, as an example, to have all of the video providers grouped together as well. Now, Nick, I believe you have some firsthand experience using this module. Why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, so I explored this module quite a bit when as I've been rebuilding the Talking Drupal website. So we currently don't use oEmbed for the audio embeds. So I wanted to explore setting that up to work with Libsyn, which is the kind of, I guess it's the CDN that we use for the podcast. One of the nice things about this module is there's kind of two sides to it. One is you have the ability to kind of use a checkbox to enable a bunch of different oEmbed providers that Chris has kind of set up the integrations for. I think there's a list of like 50 or 60 if I had to guess. There's a ton. But it also has the ability to allow you to add your own custom providers without code. So you can kind of just go in there and say, this is my provider URL. This is what I want to embed. Unfortunately, Libsyn did not work, and Chris was very helpful in the issue queue, kind of helping me debug that. And it turns out that Libsyn doesn't have valid oEmbed, doesn't follow the spec properly, so it doesn't work. He gave some pointers, but I think ultimately I'm just going to wait for Libsyn to support it properly. We'll just continue embedding the content the way we do. But he was really responsive. It's a great little module if you need to embed stuff that does support the oEmbed spec properly. I would definitely recommend it.
Awesome. In terms of that process of kind of oEmbed, I mean, I'm sure lots of people have used YouTube or Vimeo embeds. Has anybody had other experiences in terms of using oEmbed in Drupal beyond sort of those basic kind of core supported elements?
The only other one I've done is, and it was kind of a roundabout way. It didn't quite follow. It didn't use this module, but that was SoundCloud, which again, it's pretty straightforward. You just, the idea behind it is the system knows how to format whatever you're embedding, and you don't really have to worry about it. So it's pretty powerful.
I think in the past, I've used a couple of modules that did like individual social channels. So Instagram, and I think maybe the other one I'd used was Twitter. But as you say, it's pretty powerful to have a module like this that can easily allow you to add them in bulk as well.
I'm interested by this because I, in the past, have had notoriously bad luck with Instagram content and being able to add that to my personal website. I'm using like a service right now to just pull it in kind of manually. But I'm wondering from like a user perspective, right? So I install this module, I add the Instagram, oEmbed endpoint, like what do I then get from that? Do I just get like media items that I can then add to content, or is it like, is it like feeding in data? Like how does that typically work?
It's not a feed. It's going to allow you to manually drop in a piece of content, just like you do with YouTube. Like Core supports YouTube, but it's not going to like
Oh,
pull in
okay.
something automatically. You can just go to a YouTube video, copy the URL, paste it in, and it will work. The
I
same
got
thing
it.
for Instagram.
So in the Instagram scenario, it wouldn't automatically pull in my stuff. It would just provide me the ability to basically pull my stuff in from Instagram and say, "Hey, here's a photo from Instagram," and add it to a post or something like, or a view or something like that. Got it. Okay, that makes sense, I guess.
I would imagine you could probably use it with feeds to ingest the URLs and then have this basically do the oEmbed to, put that into your content. But
Right. Yeah. You see, yeah, that makes sense. Cool. That's super interesting. Martin, again, another very interesting module that I now am going to have to go try to figure out how to use in my own projects and personal stuff. So, thank you for that. All right, let's jump into talking about remote work.